I always thought becoming the next Martin Garrix was the only way to make it in music, but over the course of my journey, I have come to realize that I was wrong. I have made music my full-time career, but the reality of that is in no way comparable to what I imagined it would be 12 years ago. In this video, we'll go over the lessons I've learned the last 12 years and how they may help forward your journey. For that, we have to rewind to the summer of 2011. I was 13 years old on a vacation in Italy with my parents as we were lying by the pool, and suddenly I heard a song. I think it was Memories by David Guetta, and for the first time in my life I was like, hey, I want to be able to make a song like that. So when I got back home, I started Googling how to make music, and I ended up downloading Magic's Music Maker. I then switched to FL Studio as I read that's what some of the pros were using, plus people said it was very quick to learn. And in the year that followed, I basically just continued learning, made what I now realize was a ton of pretty bad electronic music, and I landed my first ever DJ gig in my hometown. In the meantime, I was also sending most of the songs I made to DJs and labels, hoping they'd like it. But I rarely received responses, and if I got one, it would usually say something like, hey, thanks for sending, but this isn't for us, which was quite discouraging at times. Then in October 2012, I read about this new guy signing to Spinnin' Records, which at the time was like the biggest EDM label out there, and it was really everyone's dream to be signed by them. The guy's name? Oliver Heldens. So I figured it couldn't hurt to reach out, right? I sent him my song without any expectations, but I received a reply only 7 minutes later. He gave some awesome feedback, and after exchanging some emails, he even asked me for feedback on one of his songs. Like, what a legend. I then asked if he'd be interested in collaborating. He said yes, and we ended up working on a song that would later be known as Javelin, which released in December 2013. Now, this taught me a valuable life lesson. Don't be afraid to reach out, as sometimes it really only takes one person to make something big and unexpected to happen, but if you don't take a chance, you'll never know. Now, during that same year, I met Nick Genovese, who would become a friend for life, with whom I started a duo called Made in Genovese. Together we made an original song called Funk That.
Main and Genovese are two young talents who just started producing tracks. They sent me their latest project. This is Funk That.
And soon after, our goal was to remix popular songs, give away the remixes for free on SoundCloud, and hope the popularity of the songs we were remixing would provide us with exposure, which actually turned out to be a very good strategy, especially because SoundCloud was like huge at that time. Like in 2015, we posted a melodic house remix of Outside by Calvin Harris, which blew up to over 200,000 plays in no time. So while we made several more remixes together that ended up doing reasonably well, some other things were going on as well. I was still in high school and I was struggling big time to juggle between music, school, and spending time with family and friends. Eventually the latter won at the expense of music, resulting in a period where I'd end up prioritizing education and my social life over a career in music. And this was from about 2016 until 2020. Like, I still made some music, mainly selling Ghost Productions and doing Fiverr gigs, like a side hustle, but I wasn't really working toward or even thinking about my initial ambitions of becoming a full-time producer. But that would unexpectedly change. I was traveling in New Zealand and then COVID happened, so I had to fly back home. And during that period, I would end up spending a lot of time at home again in my bedroom studio, which is how I somehow refound my passion for music. From April to July 2020, I made like 20 new songs that I finally felt were unique, were in my own style, and this was the most fun I had ever had making music. So what I learned is that sometimes taking a break can lead to rediscovering yourself. Like, I had put music aside for some time to, do other things like discovering new parts of the world, but when I finally got back to making music in 2020, my approach to making music had somehow completely changed for the better. Almost as if that break caused my usual musical routines and ways of thinking to reset, which made me realize your creative habits need some kind of reset from time to time, otherwise you may not be growing as much as you possibly can. Now, in this 2020 period, I also realized I was finally able to translate anything from my mind to my canvas in FL Studio, which really excited me. And I'm sure the main reason I got to this point was by remaking lots of songs over time, which taught me another life lesson. Master how to recreate and you will learn how to create like a master. In my experience, the best way to get better at making music is by remaking songs you admire, as you get to explore everything inside those songs, like chords, sound design, arrangement, which at first may seem intimidating and maybe even impossible, but if you just start doing it without thinking, hey, this remix needs to be perfect, then I promise it's going to actually be a lot of fun, kind of like a game you get better and better at the more you play it. And whenever you are stuck, just check out YouTube or Reddit because there's lots of insights on those platforms. So yeah, I again started to remake lots of songs I enjoyed listening to, and I figured why not post these to YouTube and share the FL Studio sessions for free so others might learn from them, which marked the start of my YouTube channel called 808 back then. I sadly couldn't think of a better name. The first remix I posted only got a couple of views, and I soon figured that if the channel was to actually make an impact by helping people grow, I'd have to make real tutorials explaining my creative and technical choices, which was intimidating at first as I was very uncomfortable speaking publicly, let alone showing my face in my videos and talking to a camera, but it was something I'd gradually get used to. And that's also when I realized, wow, in theory the channel could eventually evolve into a life-sustaining business. Like, I don't need to become the next Martin Garrix to make a living from what I love doing, which is making music. And that sudden realization really taught me that, your initial goals and ideas about success may change over time, and you don't want to set yourself to only one expected outcome, but you rather want to be open to the idea of there being many other ways that lead to Rome, even if you don't see those roads at first. Okay, so I was working on YouTube, I enjoyed that, but I was also pursuing my master's degree in business. Then on the day of graduation, I was suddenly asked if I would be interested in helping develop an AI music making app for the iPhone. And I was like, what? Turned out they had found me through my Justin Bieber Stay tutorial, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect, as I honestly thought I'd have to go apply for, a regular job to pay my bills, while it had always been my dream to make a living from my passion, making music, which taught me what I consider to be my most valuable life lesson. You want to put yourself out there, like make sure your songs or any other forms of your creative expressions are out there for the world to find them. They don't even have to be songs, but they could be music tutorials, remakes, or anything you feel somebody else might enjoy or take value from, as you never know who may end up seeing it. If it wasn't for that initial leap of faith, starting the channel, then the opportunity of the app would have never came. So gratefully, I said yes to the opportunity. And the app is now something I've been part of for almost 2 years, allowing me to turn my passion into my full-time career. Now, ever since, it's been a massive challenge to juggle everything in between the channel and the app. Like, there have been periods with lots of posts followed by periods without any new videos, and vice versa. So although I've made music my career and I find great meaning in both the app and the channel, I'm really still figuring out how to combine it all in a way that is enjoyable and sustainable. So fast forward to today, I've been brainstorming a lot about ways I can improve the channel to make content that best serves you as a viewer and that is at the same time fun for me to create. And I figured, how about getting you involved in the content of the channel? Maybe you're working on a song and there's a part where you're stuck, or there's something else you struggle with, like could be melodies, chords, mixing, arrangement, anything really. Like you just send me your question, we find out how to solve it, and through a video, we share it with other creators in our community who may be facing the same challenge. Because we all struggle and we all want to become better and grow, right? So I feel the channel should really be about overcoming, sharing, and learning together. And that's why I'd love this to be the new way of creating content for the Worlds Project going forward. So let me know what you think about this new initiative, and please send in any questions you may have so we can start overcoming together. I want to thank you for all the support. I hope this video was able to give you some new insights and perspectives on music or maybe even life, and I really can't wait to hear from you.